We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
He dropped the F-bomb, and rightfully so, in a line that I hope goes down in history with tear down this wall and 7 years ago, and the only thing to fear is fear itself. I've never been prouder. Glad to be with you. I'm going to get right into this. And before I do, I want to be clear, since, look, some people involved with covering the news and working in this medium are friends. None of this is meant to be personal. But it is personal to me in that I think we need to do better. I think we can do better here on the right. I think it starts with providing you with references and encouraging you to do research and to use discernment. So first, let me ask you where you are, what you think about the news, the update with the ceasefire, Israel, Iran. And things can change, just to be clear. It is 11:05. I got Casio money. It's 11:05 on June 24th. Welcome, Gerald, by the way, CEO, and Mr. Firestein. And I'm going to give you a timeline first, and then get to the meat and potatoes of this day. There are still some uncertainties, let's put it that way. Here are things that are not in doubt. Okay, here's some key facts. It's very clear President Trump is not looking for regime change. It's very clear that President Trump did not and does not want us to get into a protracted war. And it is exceedingly clear that President Trump is not controlled by Israel or the Jews. If anything, they do what he say. That's what we found out today. Something else, too, that I think is very consistent, that people on the right and the left should be happy with. Donald Trump, President Trump, hates needless death. Didn't want Iran to have a nuke because he doesn't want people dying. Doesn't want a protracted war because he doesn't want people dying. Always opposed the war in Iraq because he doesn't want people dying unless it is an absolute necessity. These are good things. People talk about infighting. People talk about the fracturing and the civil war on the right. Today is largely a good day. These are good things to know. These are even things that are so good that those on the left should be thrilled, over the moon, to find this out, or to at least confirm it today. Again, let me reiterate, people make mistakes. Okay, we have here many times, and we always do our best to correct them. People get stories wrong. There are stories out there that are created so well from trolls, sometimes it's hard to tell if it's real or fake. People do not combine different elements, I don't want to say the term facts. I don't want to use that term. Non-facts. Weave together stories, narratives, participants to present to you a conspiracy as though it is irrefutable fact by accident. It doesn't happen by accident. And when people have been doing this to you, false flag, PSYOP, controlled by the Jews, they've been telling you to discount people who've been doing their job correctly. This is an entertainment show, but I'm even talking about those in news. We applied the same standard during COVID. It's not, wait a second. What did you do at that time? It's what did you do with all of the other information that was available to you at that time, Fauci? Did you discount any of the data as it related to lockdowns, as it related to vaccines, as it related to the Wuhan market versus a lab? Were there doctors saying, hey, you may be wrong? And did you eliminate their voice or try and discredit them? That has been happening on the right with people saying, don't trust anyone who says, hey, there might be something to Iran being dangerous with a nuclear weapon. They're shills. Donald Trump's controlled by the Jews. Impeach him. You guys understand this has real world consequences. And I want to give the people who've been doing this an out. Just say you made a mistake. Let's do that. Reset. Do right by your audience. Do right by your country. That's why we're broadcasting wide, by the way, by request from Chris Pavlovsky of Rumble today on YouTube, because a lot of the people who've been feeding you this still make most of their money on YouTube, being the free speech advocates that they are. So, timeline. Last night on Truth, and a lot has happened since then. There's so much that's happened since then. The story developed on my car ride from my home to the office this morning. And I was listening to a news briefing in the car. That's how much this story has developed and how rapidly it has developed. So last night, President Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Congratulations to everyone. You've probably read this already. That happened. Not everyone initially, especially in Iran, was happy with the talks of peace.
Now this is good news. All you need is love. All you need is love.
Look,
Can't make everybody.
we can't be on the same page with not with everything.
No.
So the ceasefire, the agreement, was tested this morning when the IDF said that they would be responding to Iran's violation of the ceasefire. They posted, in light of the severe violation of the ceasefire carried out by the Iranian regime, we will respond with force. Donald Trump then dropped a warning on Israel. Truth Social, he said, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do it, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now, Israel. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And he was very irritated. Again, a man who clearly hates needless death. And in a response, heated, I believe, depending where you are, night, morning, early this morning, he dropped the F-bomb, and rightfully so, in a line that I hope goes down in history with tear down this wall and 7 years ago, and the only thing to fear is fear itself. He addressed this situation with reporters and specifically was angry with Israel if they were going to do this.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have to respond to Iran?
I've never been prouder.
What was he holding, though?
His hat.
Oh, his hat.
Yeah.
Was he holding a yarmulke? Get it out of here!
I thought it was like a grocery bag. Like,
Too small. Sound like a guy who's controlled by Israel, by the Jews. Wherever you line up, isn't this a good thing? Isn't this a good thing for the country? Didn't we all get what we wanted here? No war, knowing that our president is putting America's interests first. MAGA. Why would anyone want to impeach this man if they're MAGA? Can you guys answer that for me? And we make all of the references available, and I always will. It's just another safeguard. It doesn't guarantee that we're right about anything. But when there's so much happening, when the acceleration is so rapid, someone can take one moment in the timeline and craft a narrative around it and misinform you. So I want to go through all of this, as this has happened in the last 12 hours. So for about 5 minutes after that historic moment that I love, and I love that it includes the F-bomb, I think it's perfectly appropriate, about 5 minutes, all of the haters of Donald Trump were having a field day with false gotchas on the left.
Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it will be a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. He then posted this tweet claiming that Israel was not going to attack Iran, as you see here. And literally, as he was posting it, Israel bombed an Iranian radar site. In my opinion, Donald Trump is a child playing a president. Brian Krasenstein, citizen of the United States.
Now, in this case, maybe he made a mistake, or maybe he's deliberately lying to you to misinform you, because he posted that additional Truth Social post saying, hey, look, they attacked this site. This must mean he's lying. Well, 8 minutes before that, Cassie Akiva, who did some great work, by the way, Daily Wire, reported from Netanyahu's office. 8 minutes before that video, in response to Iran's violations, the Air Force destroyed a radar installation near Tehran. Pursuant to the conversation between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu, Israel has refrained from additional attacks. She laid out a great timeline too. I'll post a link to this, today's events, and I'll just sort of recap it again if you're still a little bit murky, because a lot has happened. And by the way, you could be a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist and find this confusing, just to be clear. So timeline, kind of, let's go 1 through, I believe, 7 she does. 1, Trump announces a ceasefire yesterday, giving 6 hours to both sides to wrap up their operations. 2, Israel starts to bomb Iran heavily. 3, Iran shoots 5 missile barrages at Israel, one of which kills 4 people. 4, Trump's deadline goes into effect and Iran shoots another barrage. 5, Trump announces his deadline is in effect on truth and asks for no more firing. 6, Iran fires 1 missile 3 hours later, which does not land per Trump. 7, Israel vows to respond. 8, Trump publicly demands that Israel not respond and that its planes turn around. 9, Israel strikes a minor site and turns its planes around. And they've made it clear that at least at this moment in time, they plan to honor it. Here's what's happened. President Trump here is not controlled by anyone else. He is the parental figure in the room, and he has counted to 3, and everyone knows he mean what he say.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare do that. Did you hear me? Hey, stop. Hold it right there. You put that ice cream in your mouth, and you are in very, very, very big trouble. Don't you dare go anywhere beyond that. Put it down right now. I am not going to say it again. I am not going to say it again. I am not.
Perfect. Don't care if you're Jewish or a Muslim. So, for those saying, I don't know, I don't believe. Well, apparently the ceasefire is, I should say, Iran is so confident in it that they actually have a victory parade planned. Which, all right, fine. This was our plan. We have you right where we want you.
All right.
We didn't like nuclear bombs anyway.
I'm bleeding.
Yes.
You can be the victor. The person with the highest casualty wins.
That's right. I took your missile out with my ass.
Face to foot style.
I'll try my nuts to your fist style. So it's good that Iran agreed to a ceasefire, because if not, President Trump was likely going to send in an attack so fierce Iran would never recover.
You one ugly motherfucker.
So gross.
Hey, it's worse here than there. She said it.
Yes,
Can,
yes. And I love, look, people talk about words. No, the actions are what define you. If right now here we go, look, I'm done. Look, you heebs, you towelheads, stop it. It's enough. You're going to make it about words. You're going to make it about the fact that he used the F word. This is also something you see on the right, the pearl clutching. So this ceasefire brokered, okay, by President Trump. He's the adult in the room. He is America first. Now I want to get to what has been a real problem and something that needs to be corrected, or not just Republicans. Conservatives will not only lose in the midterms, all of the momentum, which is a hard word to say, all the momentum which has been built will be lost. You have a generation of people, Gen Z, young males, who are more conservative than any generation at this point in their lives, than anyone ever. Don't squander that lead. And people who are being bad actors, and they're trying to say you'll squander that lead if you do Israel's bidding. And what is doing the bidding of Israel? That means presenting the facts. That means if we go, hey, I don't think that a nuclear Iran is a good thing, but I also think we need to be able to inspect Israel's weapons facilities. And I also don't want to send a single American soldier to die for any war that is not in our interest. You have been told that perspective is not mainstream. That perspective is bought and paid for. In some cases, not all, by people who are bought and paid for. The left is never held accountable. You've heard me talk about this. It's what gets me up in the morning. It drives me nuts. The left makes a bunch of predictions on climate change. They don't come true. And they're never held to account. The left says that it's going to be World War III when Donald Trump becomes president, and it never comes true. They're never held to account. They say it's going to be Handmaid's Tale. Hands off my vagina. It's going to be some post-apocalyptic Orwellian future. And it never comes true. And they're never held to account because it is a worldview with no fundamental moral backbone. And so it's just this bad, this bad, this bad, and progress for the sake of progress. And they're never held accountable. We have that emerging on the right. And the fake news that's coming from the right is not because it's controlled by legacy media and it's controlled by a perspective that won't allow voices of dissent. We have it emerging on the right because these people don't even know that they're controlled entirely by an algorithm. The algorithm rewards controversy. The algorithm rewards the lie if it's more clickable than the truth. And we can't run our country that way. We can't be doing this to our audiences. I'm very grateful because everyone serves a master. We serve you. If we here, just to be clear, if we had to be beholden to YouTube's algorithm because we make most of our, we'd have to do it too. We couldn't say, hey, it's probably not World War III, and here's why, and here are the likely scenarios. We'd have to say, it's World War III, and Donald Trump is a stooge for the Jews. Why? Because none of us would eat otherwise. Because that's what the algorithm rewards. Put that aside. People make mistakes. Knowing what I know now, and we'll get to this later, I would have very enthusiastically supported the use of bunker busters. I didn't. Now, that was a judgment call where I said, I don't know if it's a good idea. It may be, but I'm kind of split on it. Knowing what I know now, I would say absolutely. You can end a war, you can end human suffering and loss of life without killing anybody and eliminating a nuclear threat? Of course. People make mistakes. People make inferences. People are asked for their opinion. People get single stories wrong. That happens, where you find out a story isn't exactly how it was presented. We've had that happen. People do not, I repeat this, add up together, compile multiple different elements, cherry pick or create facts out of thin air, weave them together with narratives that don't make sense together to create one underlying conspiracy and present it to you as fact by mistake. That cannot be attributed to ignorance, and it's happening a lot, and it has real world consequences. Just want to be clear. Remember what it is that you were told. Hold our side to account the same way we want. We can't hold the left to account because they're not going to do it on CNN. We can do it here in our territory. We have to when it comes from our own side.
Apparently, I'm back in time for World War III.
We are starting the fight. These crazies are dragging us in to what's really already World War III.
Then the deep state just had to go and start World War III.
We're going to be hated and despised for what we're doing. We already are, but it's only going to get worse because the war is going to get worse.
We are at war with Iran as of right now.
The third war is not about to start. It has started.
War with Iran will be World War III. Iran is not alone, and it will not remain alone.
And by the way, that doesn't come close to, the next one is a CCI montage. Doesn't come close to some of the wild takes that some other folks made. Oh, you're still here watching this on YouTube? There's no more. It's over. Just like YouTube. YouTube is over. It's not a thing anymore. How many Seth Meyers clips do you need? Head on over to Rumble. Follow me there. Live on weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we can actually speak freely and don't have to self-censor. YouTube it's really not a thing. Like, you ever seen one of those towns that maybe was like a mining town, or maybe they made some kind of alloy? You say, hey, I wonder what they did in this town. It takes a while to find a person who can tell you what they did in that town, and even then you don't fully understand it. That's YouTube. YouTube is that town. So go to Rumble.